let's move on to here. How do we import a calendar? And so why we'd want to import it. So first of all, let me take you back to calendars. These on top are my calendars. I have created all of these. Well, with the exception, this Google puts this in the contacts. If your contacts have birthdays in them, they come in. This is there's reminders, which I don't really use reminders or tasks, but everything else here I have created. Okay. And so these down here are others. So these I've subscribed to. These are somebody else's that I bring in. So first of all, I'm going to show you how to import one and why you would do that. So let's come back here and go here and say, let me move this up a little. Okay, we did create. We did one from here. Now we're going to import. Okay, so here's how you import. You go to this, and it asks you to upload this. And so let's do this. First of all, DSU is really strange. I could not find DSU's athletic calendar anyplace on here. So I went back. I have it, of course, here. And so let me just show you. I subscribe to it. So I come in here, and this is what's strange. Under the settings, here is the URL for it. And so I copy this and drop it in here. I don't know. It should go there. Oh, it wants to download already. So this one on my calendars, I did not download this. It's a link to them. It's live. That's why it's down there. All right. And so when I did it before, it allowed me to come here to a site under the media that I cannot find any place on here. Okay, so media, and you don't need to know this. I just want to show you how this works. So it has a calendar view, but download it. And it's interesting, when I go to download, it gives me this where I could literally download it. And you can have them all here or home events only. And this will be all kinds of things like this, all the different sports. So let's say the men's basketball we want. I'll show you later how to subscribe or add. But right now I'm going to show you what it's like to download. Here, it takes you there. And I would say this is DSU. And not that this matters. Okay. And so now I have it. And what, of course, what you do with that is you're going to upload it into the calendar. So on here, I would say I'm going to click on this, and I come to that, and here's the calendar. Now, this is interesting too. Where do you want it to be? I do not want it on my default calendar. Do you remember that? On the calendars, there's the default one that's yours, unless you want it on there. But I don't want other people need to see it or anything. I wanted a separate one, so I pick a different one. Or if I don't have one, you can come back here and make a name for it like this. And let's see, might be under settings. Right here, add a calendar. And so I can just click on here and start a calendar. Import. So here, when I come back here to the calendar, now I got it. You would simply do the same. You're going to import. You'd create the calendar first. And I'd say this is DSU men's basketball. And I'm the owner. And then I'm still the owner, but now it's called this. So I say create it. And now I come back. And now I want to import that. I say import. It asks me which one. I'll say DSU men's basketball. I select that. Import. Imported 36 events. And now you'll know it. If it worked, you'll always get this. So let's go to it now and see what that looks like. Ah, it didn't work. Let's try this. That's all I did was refresh it there. And now those are on there. Okay, so that's one import. Let me show you another one I'm familiar with. And this one, the Sioux Falls Skyforce, and you saw in my bio slide, I've worked for them for 31 years doing the game schedule or game day operations. I keep the stats and put them out to the media and stuff like that. And let me show you their schedule. Okay, it looks like this, and they have all their season. You go back and see them from all the way back. But I used to be able to subscribe to them, but they don't do that anymore. They only allow you to do this, to download. So this is how you would do that. I think this one. Yeah, it gives you a Skyforce, so we'll do the same thing there. And let me figure out where I'd put that. I have a Skyforce one there. Let me see what I have. You'll see them come up on there. Here's the DSU one that I subscribed to. It has everything on it. And now they won't let you do that. Well, let's import it in there and see what happens. So we go like the same. We say here, we want to import. We're going to say put this under the Skyforce. And we're going to select that one. Again, it brought 36 in. Let's it didn't put it in there, I hope. Let's go back. Refresh. And what happened here is something else on here. Oh. Did I bring the wrong one in? I think I did. Let me try it again. I'm going to import. I'm going to say I want this under Skyforce. I did bring the wrong one. They're a little tricky to get rid of. 51. Now let's go back here. So now that has them in there with the DSU ones, but they all come in there. So here is what your assignment will be, is to find one and import it. Import it. Okay. Let me tell you how to subscribe now. This is separate. This is something different. This one, you don't have to have a calendar set up for it. Okay. So let me show you how to subscribe. So we come back here to the DSU one that you cannot find, that is impossible to find, and say subscribe. And what it does is open and pick an app. So I do that and says, what do you want it in? Outlook or Chrome? It gives you that choice. Okay. Or I'm going to do this. I'm going to come to men's basketball and say, add it to my Google Calendar. And boom, it's there. And here's the whole thing here. Now let me go see. Well, since I did that, it should be down here, and here it is. And it brings everything in like I showed you. And so what you do now is you can now amend this. Okay. Now let's just do this in front so you know what it is. And the reason I have to manage these so closely is I have so many. Okay. Now they're there. So let me show you some other things about this now before I go off of here. There's this. Let me show you how to subscribe. This will be more meaningful to you. I have it here, the whole Parker School. I get all of their stuff. Everything, this is all Parker stuff. All their school things, whether it's days off or what have you, they're all here. And that's a little much. So here's what I did when my peeps were playing. I would have this, but say, for example, my peep's going to come here. I would click on this, get this, come up here and say, copy to Jackson Fegan Games. So I make sure I had it. And now I get this. I can redo this. I can put whatever I want because now this is mine. What I showed you before was not. Okay, so now I save this and it shows up as here as his. So when I shut this off, I still have that. So that's how you'd subscribe. Now, how do you find Parker's? Parker is ahead of others because their administrators and stuff are very technologically aware. So some schools, you would have a hard time finding this, but this is how cool subscribing is. So you come to, I'm going to get out of there, you come to their school website. There's a little easier to find than most. It's under calendars. And this here is a PDF. I mean, you'll want this too, but this doesn't import or anything. PDFs don't do anything, but it's a nice view from there. But what you want is here is the district calendar. That's what I have. And you can also download gym calendars. Maybe this is of value to you. The lunch menu. Here's why this matters also. You may need to keep track of several things like this. You may need different things on your calendar. So under the district calendar, when I click on that, it takes me here. That's a little different. You'd have to know what these are. Here's to export it. That's where you could bring it in or print it. But the one I use is this here. And now it gives you some choices here. Android devices, Microsoft, other calendar programs. Or you can just take this. But let me just do another calendar and see what else it says. Again, they say to take this link. So let me take this link and see what that looks like. Yeah, so that's what it gives you. So I think we can do this. I think you could, I'll shut that off and recreate that for you. So I say this, I'm going to create a calendar. And I say, I'm going to subscribe to a calendar. And I think, I'm not sure what, I think I can do this from the URL. And so I paste that URL in here and make it a public accessible. Well, sure. Why do I care if it's public accessible? Okay. This calendar's added and it should look like that URL. So let's go back and see what we got. And this should be down here because it's not mine. Yeah, here it came. This is it right here. And the same thing. Once that's in, now you can copy them to your calendar if that's one. You click on it and tell it to copy if you want that. And then why I like that too, then I would manipulate that a little bit. This is mine now. I could come in here and say, here's notes, take some of this off or add notes. And often I did this because relatives would have this calendar. I wanted them to be able to figure it out. And again, I can change the name of this. Are you wondering why I have these letters here? The reason I want those letters there, I want them at the top of my list. I don't want to have to look for them. Okay. So you're going to subscribe to one and you're going to import one into your calendar. And that'll be that. Okay.